with you, George, shall we? So can you tell us a little bit about your next challenge that's going to be happening very time soon?
Oh yeah, so after messing it up last time I was in, it's 84 miles every day for 12 days for the 84 male suicides a week in the UK and the 12 a day.
And what's the reasoning behind that? What prompted, because the swim obviously involved endurance, but not quite as much as endurance as this. So what's the reasoning behind that choice?
Yeah, so I fancy doing something with a bit more sort of longevity to it as such. And as well, the sense I didn't really think I could prepare myself properly for the swim. Like I knew I was never going to be able to do the last sort of back end of the swim. I was never going to really get ready for that. But now it's kind of even more in the sense that I literally can't prepare for a 12-day event. Like I'm never going to have the time to even put like a 4 or 5 day shift in for those kind of miles. I thought that translated much better towards the sort of mental health side of things, far more than the swim anyway.
And we were just discussing how's the training going? How are certain parts of your anatomy holding up?
Yeah, genuinely, I'm okay. Maybe it's just me being naive and having not done enough hours yet. But yeah, I guess we'll find out 3 or 4 days in. I'm sure it'll be graphic enough.
Are you going to have people cycling alongside you? Where are you cycling? Because it's on a stationary bike, isn't it?
Yeah, so most of it's going to be on the stationary bike. I've got all sorts of places lined up. Some are still coming together. I think Riley's for one.
Yes, yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm waiting to hear back from M&S. Noah's are confirmed. Foraging Vintners are confirmed. I'll do a couple of days at Microgaming. Douglas Town Centre, and a few others that still come together. But yeah, it should be good.
Brilliant. And how are your funds coming along?
So we've just hit 8.1 thousand, which is epic considering it's only sort of 3.5, 4 months, and the whole thing was supposed to be 10 across a full year. So yeah, it's coming along pretty well.
Awesome. And can we open it up to you guys now? Can you tell us about your involvement with George and your clothing, I Choose Life?
I'll go then. Yeah.
Also, just feel free to chirp in with each other.
Yeah. We've known George for a while. Before he was planning his swim and that sort of thing, and as he started creating this idea of the challenges and the physical challenges and that sort of thing, it was kind of created more of a vibe around how we could potentially assist. So in a nutshell, I Choose Life donates 50% of all of our profits from every single month to a charitable cause of some description. So for this example, we thought it would be cool to do like a limited time product or a limited availability product to be able to promote with George, so that he can just get the funds that he wants to aim for his desired goal over the time period. So yeah, it was any way that we could help, and that was kind of how it came about really. And thought the challenge was pretty cool. Tom's got a bit of a silly idea that we're going to join in on the last day. I don't think I've ever cycled that distance in my life accumulatively.
Yeah, so we're going to commit to do the last leg of 85 miles with George, which is around the parish. Are you doing the parish?
Yeah, so one of my thoughts was for the last day is to try and do the parish walk course minus a mile. But yeah, we'll just see what state I'm in, because the Isle of Man's a hilly place. But yeah, we'll give it a good go. I think maybe we'd be sticking at the same pace all the way around anyway, so it'd be perfect. You're dragging me up some hills, Sam.
Yeah, so me, Kim, and Sam all committed to the cycle on the last day, 85 miles.
Ace.
At least a portion of it.
How long will it take though?
I'm kind of looking at
3 months.
that one day.
So at the moment, the kind of pace I've got going, it'll be 4.5 on the stationary bike. When you put in hills, you're talking like 5 to 6, if not more, especially by day 12.
Double it.
So we're two heavy dudes, and Kim is a bit fitter than we are. Maybe 6 to
7.
7 or 8.
And then you're looking at the light as well. So
how many coffee and cake stops do you think we can make?
I was going to say with a lunch break. With a lunch break and with breakfast, second breakfast and dinner.
Levensies.
It's basically an 18-hour stint, really.
I think we should plan it, go around, we do cafe stops on the way, all the way around the parish.
We can bring it in.
We can do that.
We could do 12 cafe stops.
Yeah, that could be.
Yes.
Light becomes a problem, but we'll be fine.
So torches are for
Okay.
me.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
torches, you're fine.
Yeah, mate. There's not many hours in the day to do it.
torches to be white.
Yeah.
What date are you doing it on?
Starting the 17th, so yeah, 12 days after that, October. So it's getting pretty dark by that point.
Yeah, will be one.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes though. We'll be fine.
And with your company and your branding, how, because you said you've been around for about a year, how did that come about in the first place? Was this because of what George set out to do, or was it something separate?
To be honest, it was just because he was doing such an amazing kind of little project, so we just wanted to get involved with it. Kind of fitted with our sort of ethos of the company. Every month we change who we support, so it just, with what George was doing, especially on the male side of things, it's probably kind of a topic that's getting more and more popular, or not popular, but more talked about, whereas previously it was kind of quite a taboo subject, especially with males not wanting to talk about it and things like that. So we just wanted to get behind it and get behind George, and the more we can help him, the better.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And do you think that people are sort of, do you think the stigma surrounding it is kind of fading a little bit?
I think a little bit. I think more people are talking about it, and I think social media helps with more exposure to it. People like George doing the project he's doing. But I still think it is a very hard topic for people to talk about, especially males, because whether it makes them feel weak or I don't know, but they shouldn't do.
I think it's incredible, really. The camaraderie that you guys have is exactly what you're promoting kind of with this cause. And also, not that you should define different types of males, but you all are very masculine men. Like you're all athletes, you know.
Me in particular.
and especially kind of in like professional athletes and whatnot, they feel the pressure like hard enough, like, because they are so like, I can't show my emotion, like I'm you know, a man's man kind of thing. So I think you of all people are really setting the bar, like, you know, for people to follow in your footsteps, hopefully, which is brilliant. It's
becoming a more prevalent topic, and people are more open to discussion about it. I think the fact that people are talking about it and the fact that people are doing stuff is always just a sign of the change that is happening. I mean, it's the same principle for everybody. It's not so much that we're specifically saying that, well, you might be specifically saying this, that the male depressive issue is the major issue. It's just a case of openly talking about everything that is the solution to many things. It's just a lack of communication and hiding away from the issues rather than openly dealing with those issues. It's avoidance rather than trying to actually solve things. So that's one of the things that I think is really positive about what George is doing. It's just a case of openly saying, this is the situation and this is how I'm going to promote the benefit.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for my t-shirt. It's absolutely lovely. Where can people buy your clothing?
You can hop on to ichooselife.co.uk, and there is an online shop there where you can get things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's quite fast delivery as well, just for everybody's reference. But the limited time offer t-shirts that we're promoting for George and for George's cause, that he's wearing lovely right now, they are available through us by direct messaging. And have you got them on?
Yeah, they're up at Riley's Garden Centre for sale if people want to directly sort of pay from there and then, or if they can contact us on all our social media platforms, we can organise delivery for them.
And that is at I Choose Life Clothing on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome. Those are all my questions. Is there anything else you would all like to add at all?
The only thing I could think to add on what Sam said before about it being sort of male orientated, it's the only reason I saw it as male orientated was purely because of the work Calm were doing, and I see the way they market as a charity is very individual, and it's sort of the real kind of thing that's going to change people's opinions. If there's other charities, I've already thought about if I, when I hit my 10 grand target, whether when I'm pushing out to 20, is there other charities that might be more inclusive? That has pondered on my mind a little bit, but it's not something that's male exclusive by any means, but it's just a known statistic that obviously 75% of suicides were male, but obviously it's a challenge you need to tackle for both male and females.
I think that's a great idea. Have you thought about what other charities you might consider?
So I've pondered over it, but I won't want to label anyone yet, just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that's been playing on my mind.
And I don't mean to jump the gun, but are there any thoughts on Challenge 3?
Let's not think about that.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just get through this one first.
Okay.
I got some ideas.
I know you do. Yeah, it's actually worth adding that it was Sam's idea for the 84 miles. It's not something I thought through too much, but that is very me. It's just sort of choose something and then just make it happen. Don't worry too much about logistics. It's all just sort of about the process of getting it done.
Do you find it blends in well? You know, like say, on your social media platforms, like you put kind of your training and even like the struggles you go through, training for it and that kind of thing. Do you find it easier because you're doing it like sort of in that process, like there and then? Do you find it easier to talk about even over social media? Because if you weren't doing the challenge, it'd be quite hard just to maybe put across your struggles or whatever.
Yeah,
or when you do it, when you're literally in the moment doing the training, doing the activities, whatever, and then it's probably easier to speak about.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I only noticed, like, I was watching one of your videos the other week and I thought, oh yeah, like it comes across quite well and you can kind of relate to that kind of struggle.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add was that the reason it's so I've chosen something so like ridiculous for me anyway. It's because I can't really prepare for it, and there was a sort of a post I did, I think probably about a month ago now, about how in terms of mental health you can't necessarily prepare yourself for anything that's chucked your way in life, and that's like no one teaches you how to deal with depression or anxiety. It's just sort of, it just happens, and it's the same way that I'm going to start these 12 days, and it's just a matter of getting through it and never seeing like giving up as an option, like no matter what state my knee ends up in, whether my arse is in bits. Like it generally just doesn't matter. You've just got to crack on with it, and then I see that as very applicable to suicide, and that giving up in that sense shouldn't be an option, which is what I see so perfect. I think that's what Tom's trying to get out there with the sort of training struggles.
Yeah, that's a really nice symbolism actually, and then obviously you'll have your support network around you, which ties into that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. And you've got like a good following going, haven't you? Like in terms of I think it's brilliant. Because I remember the first time when I saw about your challenge one, and I was like, oh, sneak him into Mike's radio. But yeah.
We're starting to get there. I think I tallied up. It's been, the Just Giving page says 270 something, but it's been well over 300 individual donations, because I've been like taking cash off various people and just adding it on. So yeah, to have over 300 people, supporting one cause is awesome, really.
Yeah. So just finally, can you just go through kind of the symbolic aspects of the cycle that you're going to be doing?
Yeah. So obviously I've been approaching different places about where I'm going to sort of do the miles on the static bike, but I've realised that I'm going to have to do stints sort of in the public eye as such, and be putting on that brave face as I sort of crack on with it. But then there's going to be, it all kind of ties in very well to that depression and maybe not being able to let on as well, like how you're actually feeling, because I know I'm going to be going home and doing these potentially like 2 or 3 extra hours, and be sort of going through the struggle then, and it all kind of ties in more than I even realise about depression and anxiety and how people might be feeling in terms of mental health.
It'd be good to make notes of everything, because you're pretty much fabricating what people who struggle with that sort of thing go through on a daily basis. So it will be pretty interesting to see how you deal with it at the end. It's almost probably worthwhile people trying to do things like you're doing, insane challenges that seem ridiculous, like Ross Edgley, for example, who's swimming around Britain at the moment. Like, it's an insane challenge, and he's not built to be a swimmer at all. Trying to do those pretty mad physical challenges like me and Kim have done, going on expeditions and stuff like that, it's something that does kind of change your perspective a little bit. So you're going to come out of the other end of this a little bit of a different person.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine.
Is there a way to, like, are you monitoring it, like, sort of like on the website or anything day to day? So like you've got, say, this amount of miles left or this amount of hours done, or
in terms of
just so people can like
Daily updates.
Yeah, daily updates so people can stay in touch.
Yeah, that's the idea. So I'll have all the miles will be tracked through Strava, and I think as I sort of go with the miles, I'll just be all over. I think I'm going to try and do like a post a day,
Yeah.
as such, actually on sort of the Instagram and maybe on Facebook, and then just have stuff constantly going, just about how I'm feeling. Just
Because
kinda talking
I reckon
through it.
people want to stay like updated. Oh, wow, where's he at now?
Yeah,
Or-
A couple of live videos as you're going through when
Literally.
you're hitting a pitfall and that sort of
Literally,
thing, and just being open about it, like
Yeah.
accepting that you are going to feel horrendous at times,
Mhm.
and almost just playing very open or being very open with that, and
Yeah,
telling
as much as
people like, right now I feel awful,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Yeah. Literally.
I think everyone's got different challenges, and even if it's not quite the same as this, it's on their own personal level.
Yeah.
This would be quite good, so they can relate to it and they go, actually, that's how I feel some of the time, or
Yeah.
they can be more open about it once they've seen someone else like yourself
Yeah.
coming open and forward about it.
Because I never wanted it to be like it's as far away from an ego thing as it could be, because I know even the swim. So I absolutely bust my balls to be able to do this 6.639 swim, and then there's swimmers that I'm training with on a Saturday morning in Laxey that are going to rock up and do a 10k swim over at Lake Windermere, and it's all just a matter of putting it into scale, because there's obviously some very good cyclists here on the Isle of Man. They can bash out those miles every day comfortably for 12 days, but it's just thinking about it as you each into your own sort of personal perspective.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's phenomenal what you're all doing. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully I'll come down, watch your cycling, put a mic in your face.
Unless you want to join in with the cycle. It's 85
Yeah, I
miles, so you
could.
do.
Do the final day with all of us if you want.
Casual
I could
81
join.
miles. I might come down and do like a little bit. 5 minutes.
See, that was another thought actually. I was tempted to get another bike so people could pedal next to me for a little bit.
I thought that was what was happening anyway.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh no. So well, unless I
no
managed
one
to get.
said that. I think I just thought it.
Okay, so unless I can get another spin bike or something, anyone fancies donating a random spin bike to me, they're more than welcome. But yeah.
You should get someone to put a bike up next to you, and it can be just have a chat with George as you're cycling. For people who are feeling a little bit down, they can have a chat with George
Yeah.
while he's down.
You could
Yeah.
do it on the spot donation as well.
Yeah. So I've had all sorts of sort of funny ideas, but it's very hard to get everything together.
Yeah.
For the dates, but it's slowly getting there.